But go ahead and introduce yourself, Paul.
Hey, what's up? Can you see and hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, cool. My name's Paul. Been a side partner for almost 3 years now. We service South Florida from Miami, Fort Lauderdale to the Palm Beaches. Um, I've spoken at a few side-by-sides. Hopefully, I've had a chance to meet some of you. If we haven't met, then I hope to catch you next year. We also run some workshops in the area for side partners and for people just within our industry as a whole. And we are extremely community oriented, which is really what is driving our use of this Homestack app.
Awesome. Yeah, when I met Paul, it was actually through, I was referred to him by Elaine Simon out in Jacksonville, Florida. They're good friends, another side partner. She's also had some great success. So if you go to the marketplace and you want to see kind of her perspective on things, she did a video testimonial on this as well. But Paul has opened up his phone line here and his email for after this. So if you have any questions, he's a busy guy, but I know he's willing to share a little more.
And that's
So
my
who
follow boss number. So don't judge me if the bubble isn't blue.
no judgment here. So we've been at this a while, guys. I mean, we've been again at this for over a decade. We power all of North America. So no matter where your business is, we have access to your MLS. We can update from it directly. Um, you know, when you do this, this is really just fulfilling the mobile pillar of your tech stack, right? You have your follow-up boss, which we'll dive into the integrations there. You have your luxury presence website, which we can add the app to, which Paul's done a great job of as a call to action. And all of you do different lead gen type things, whether that's print, digital, sphere-based, etc. The app really does have its own role in all of these aspects of the business, but it's its own pillar ultimately. And in my opinion, probably the most important. As mentioned, every generation is addicted to their phone. So if you don't have a strong mobile presence right now, you're going to probably have one in the next 3 to 5 years. So you might as well be one of the first. So follow-up boss, right? Big integration here. Paul, would you say that your life becomes a lot easier now that the data that our app collects flows straight into that?
Yes, and that is something we just integrated. I know it's something we've been waiting on, and I've been so swamped that I didn't even see it come out when it did this year. But essentially, our goal is for everything to feed into Follow Up Boss. So when we first got Homestack, that wasn't available. So I don't like having all these different platforms that we have to bounce between. So now that it has a full integration with Follow Up Boss, it's so much easier.
So it's a two-way sync, guys. We're flowing in all new leads every time a property is looked at, favorited, notes written, when people schedule showings, when they save searches, all of that flows into FUB. So even though that you may be using other systems for search, we can kind of centralize things there, and then I can talk for ways those things to chat with each other. Now, there's some of you guys that are very heavy into lead gen, right? Let's say a Zillow lead hits your follow-up boss and it goes into a pool and an agent claims that lead. That will also change the lead to that agent inside of our app. So it is a two-way sync on both agent search summaries and for lead gen purposes. So I'll show you an example of what this looks like here soon. Now, the big question. So Paul has his own, pitch that kind of plays into this, but you'll see it throughout different parts. But the question always is, like, even when Paul met me, he was like, dude, why would someone even download this? Like, I want my own app. I think it's freaking cool, but how am I going to get them to actually do this, right? And how we make that happen, because everybody's kind of been doing this for years. How do you get them off? You give them what they want. Our app looks very, very similar to the Redfins, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms. The button layout does not force someone to relearn when switching systems. So that's the thing. It's like you're trying to get people off a system that they're very comfortable with. This makes it easier. But now what Paul does, and I'll let him elaborate on this more, is, hey, this is private. We're not selling your data. This is a one-stop shop to different resources that I want you to have. And this is a direct communication channel where you can click a button and we can talk. Not only that, but Zilla's, cool, but the data is really inaccurate. You're wasting time sending me listings that aren't active. My app updates straight from MLS. Anything you want to add to this? I know you do some cool things with your free coffees and all the different things you do there.
Yeah, so we are essentially using this. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of ourselves here, but we're using this as a hub for everything that has to do with us and Ringon, whether that's real estate, community experiences, resources, um, surveys, pretty much a direct line to us that goes beyond just the transaction.
Exactly. And we're just leveraging mobile guys to display this message, right? Now, recruiting, retention, this is a part of, the daily for you guys. So, uh, like I said, check out this Elaine Simon testimonial. She's recruited multiple agents from name brand brokerages, and they've acknowledged that this app is up to par, if not better than the big guys. Uh, why agents like this? They each have an individual presence inside of the brokerage app. So if I were Ralph and I was at an open house and I texted this to 5 people that I met at this open house, the app will now transform the internal branding into me, meaning I show up on every single headshot. That lead goes into my lead bucket and my follow-up boss. So I have the opportunity to follow up with that consumer. They love this, guys. Hey, when you join my brokerage, you get your own app. Anyone that you give this to, the app brands you. Marketing. This is the fun stuff that Paul's been doing, and we'll show you some examples here. But Paul, like, how would you say, maybe from a perspective standpoint, or just capturing a few people that maybe you wouldn't have, how has the adding the app as a call to action in your marketing been going?
With our events, we lean heavy into events, of which we have at least 10 a year. We've started to create contests around that or raffles around it. Download this app, and that's also how we'll alert the winner by push notification later that day. We're going to start using it as a registration for our open houses. It really need to take full advantage of this as our way to feed people into our ecosystem.
100%. And here's the thing, guys, everyone's not tech savvy. We know that, but everyone is addicted to their phone and everyone knows how to talk and text. So that's really the secret sauce to this. Like, we have all these cool ways to do videos, which we're going to show you one of Paul's commercials that he created. Like, there's so many ways to promote the app, but the simplicity of treating it like a business card is huge. Why are you going in somebody's phone book? Like, what does that really do for you after? You're blending in with thousands of people now. So if we, when we train your agents, we drill into their brains. Hey guys, you meet someone, this is your new business card. Send them a text or get them to scan your QR code. This will brand you, and this not only gets the lead for you, but again, the superpower of apps are how they can engage with push notifications. These are going to get 92% engagements. Emails that are at a race to zero right now, you still need to do them, but you're lucky to get 30% there. Text message marketing is slowly going away with all these privacy laws being enacted, right? So like Paul mentioned, he has his event, he gets them to download it, and guess what? The winner finds out via one of these, which creates a level of excitement and an emotional connection to his brand. All right, so no matter how you market, no limits. This can be a face-to-face interaction where you text them the app. A week later, they start searching, you get notified to touch base. This could be something added to email signatures, and we do provide all of these materials for you guys to make this very simple. We have digital marketing, right? Social media, whether that's branding it as the brokerage or even the individual agent leveraging their link within your brand. Video, even print, guys. I mean, this lady got 15 buyers from California to Austin just placing her app in a relocation magazine. People know how to scan QR codes now, and if you give them the right reasons to do it, This is more effective than depending on someone calling or texting you or emailing you from a print piece when they may not be ready. This creates an opportunity for you. Now, with open houses, Paul mentioned, he wants to start incorporating this into that. I mean, Paul, most people are probably using regular sign-in sheets nowadays, right?
I mean, we don't do anything regular, but
For
we
sure.
were using another QR code, or we
Okay.
set up on open.com as that links to our form to sign up. But it may be something we layer onto it, because we do build in some other questions into there. So or
Mhm.
maybe it's side by side, we have giant 36 by 24-inch A-frames that sit at the front of each open house. So I think just having that there, I think most people, even before they realize what it is, they're already taking their phone out to scan the QR code.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play on people's muscle memory, essentially.
100%. So that's the thing, guys. Like, if you are using the regular sign-in sheet, like most people, like think about that. Everyone's doing the same thing. You're getting Mickey Mouse 1, 2, 3 half the time on that piece of paper, right? So it's, hey, we're gonna give you this flyer. I don't know if you found my house using Redfin or Zillow, but every time you open those apps, they're selling your data. We actually created a local app for Fort Lauderdale that gives you access to resources. If you scan this, or I can text it to you, you'll get a digital flyer of this listing with price alerts and driving directions to all the other open houses today. Scan it, you're going to love it. The power of that is you're not just getting the lead, you're tracking exactly what they're doing. So if you're noticing, all right, they're looking at 4-bed, 2-bath, 800,000 in this part of Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to set them up on a search or start sharing listings with them to re-engage. Hey, if my listing wasn't for you, here's a couple other listings I think you might like. This is a way to really keep things sticky and to get commissions done. Now, we talked about push notifications. Paul, I know you like the regular pushes, but what about the custom ones do you like the most?
Yeah, so for the custom ones where it isn't just everyone in our database, we can really use that. We're actually trying to get all our clients to download this. And what I liked about Homestack, and honestly, like you have to tell me something 3 or 4 times before I do it. Um, I can take our entire database or our entire client list, set them up with an account with Homestack, which is essentially Realist by Ringon, and then I could blast them out an email. Hey, we've created this app. This is our hub for everything. Use the email that you have here, and here's a simple password. And all they have to do is download it and log in, instead of, because sometimes when people have downloaded the app, it's asked for your phone number and your email. They're like, okay, what are you going to do with this? Especially if you haven't preconditioned them to expect that or had a conversation with them. But as far as engaging our past clients or active clients and keeping them within our ecosystem, I really like that. We have an event coming up next month where we're doing an afternoon at the ice skating rink, and it's just another way to ping them. And I saw Laura Blasi here in the chat, and she was on stage with me talking about events and how to really just engage with our clients. This is another layer to that. This is how to stay, you don't want to be out of sight and out of mind, right? So they're already looking at their phone, and you're actually using that to connect them to something in person. It's like one big connected circle that keeps them linked to you.
Exactly.
But we'll send
So,
out that's a nice thing. We'll be sending out our invites via push notification and email and calls, and they're kind of seeing us in a few different places.
mhm. And guess what? We're engaging you. So every broker struggles with this. How do I get my agents to use the tech, right? Well, guess what? This is also going to get them to use Follow Up Boss more because, again, everything that our app collects flows there, but we're going to engage you and your agents. Someone's online, someone favorites a listing, someone does something significant. Paul's on the road all the time. Like, I have a hard time getting this guy on the phone, but I know for a fact he's looking at his phone screen. And when he does, and he sees somebody favorite a listing, he's taking action and he's checking out what's going on. Cool. So let's switch to some of the back end stuff, and then I'll show you guys the app here. So this is what our dashboard looks like. the reason I want to go back to Follow Up Boss is every action taken by the consumer, again, will flow into this to centralize that data for you. But notice our actual backend system does live inside of Follow Up Boss as a widget. So this is an embedded app where if you want to send a push notification to this user, you can do it here. If you want to create a search for a user, you can also do it in FUB and see, data points on what they're doing. So our systems are very, very tight together. What you'll mainly be using our backend for is creating these custom links, which we'll talk about here shortly. And then like Paul mentioned, hey, I have an event coming up. Why don't I just post that on Instagram and then I'll copy that message, but leverage my app to get it in front of people. So we'll run trainings on all this for you guys. Very simple to do. We have quick videos on everything too, if you forget what to do. But essentially, you're just deciding who receives it. Is it everyone? Is it groups of people? Are they clicking a link? Are they clicking a listing? What is it? And by the way, guys, I have a lot of people right now, especially with these changes happening in the market. They're double ending 80% of their inventory right now. So it's up to you. I know the rule, everyone has a different opinion on that, but you can leverage your app to do that. Build a big old buyer base in this thing. And then as you produce listings, let's flow those listings to these buyers effectively 92% of the time. So one of your favorite sections here, Paul, and I know you haven't dove too deep into the third layer of links because we just launched this. Before I switch to your app, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Sure. Sorry, I was muted. We're using this custom part of the app to develop our hub essentially. So even we want agents to also download this app because like he had mentioned, this is a way to attract people to your companies. And, it's not going to always attract the right people, but you can at least get the attention that you want and hopefully have some good candidates come from that. So we do workshops for agents. We'll have those under our agent training section, as well as a section for our lending partners where they can go and click and get pre-approved right away. One of our lenders is just rolled out a program where obviously everyone is working in different price points, but here in South Florida, if they, for example, have a $500,000 home, they can buy it for $9,000 and they get multiple rebates. And we're going to use that ad in conjunction with our Realist app to get people to the app and then get people back to our lender. And at the end of the day, they're working with someone that we know will get the job done and that we can trust. We're also starting to layer in run clubs that are in the area, so people can go there as a resource instead of searching online or on Instagram or other, in person. Like, here are all the run clubs that we like in different neighborhoods. You can go in there and use that. We'll have resources for utilities, electric, cable, internet, all these things in one spot. That way they don't feel like it's just there for us to browse properties and us trying to sell them a home.
Exactly. So guys, we're just leveraging mobile for you to display any sort of information. It's just a level of convenience you can't really find elsewhere. And guys, the changes are here. What value are you bringing to the table differently from the next broker, right? It's like, hey, you're moving here from California? Great. I've created a one-stop shop for all utility services, access to local vendors, all the different things you need in the palm of your hand. Even after this transaction, you're going to use my app for these VIP type services. And you send them that text or get them onboarded. So I won't dive too deep into how this works, but no, it's like a link tree on steroids. We just created a third layer of links, meaning you can now break links into maybe areas or break it into different categories a little cleaner. So I'll show you what this looks like on the front end here soon, but essentially you're labeling this however you'd like in real time, and then you're adding links to these sections so that people can click on them. And then to wrap this section up, we do have agent-only resources now. So you can centralize buyer contracts, the side app, intranet, the different things you want to centralize for yourself and for your agents can also be done here by copying and pasting links. This is only agent facing, whereas these are all public facing. Awesome. So let me switch to my phone. Or did you want to do your screen share, Paul, or you want me to run that for your app?
If you want to do you want to do the ad real quick that we're gonna
Oh, yeah.
chat and run ads on? Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me. All right. So go ahead and chat about this and then I'll play it.
So essentially we wanted to run an app that or run an ad that kind of looked like everything else everyone is already used to seeing, and something that looks official and doesn't look like we put it together ourselves or looks somewhat janky. So we found someone on Fiverr, gave them the screenshots we had, and essentially created what it would look like. And we also have a few other client facing or customer facing videos where it'll be myself or other agents explaining how they would use the app, why you should download our app, and even tutorials on how to navigate parts of the app as well.
Cool. And easily done on Fiverr. So don't need to spend a ton of time like Paul. He's very particular. So this video looks great, but you can throw this up on systems like Fiverr pretty quick to get it done. Short, sweet, down to the point, hip, produces value, whether that's throwing that on an Instagram or something along
Question.
those lines.
Would you?
I have clients that are leveraging YouTube ads. Here's a client that got 110,000 people to watch this commercial. They only spent $50 a week, generated a little over 500 leads from this, converted 60 deals in 6 months. So for those of you that do lead gen, YouTube ads is a very, very effective way to generate new business by targeting exactly who you want, people from, different states moving to your area or whatever it may be. And then you can create messaging around the privacy, the accuracy, the localization of the product and things like that. So Fiverr, great resource for that. If you guys want introductions to other styles of marketing companies, I know Side has these partnerships as well. Cool. So let me switch here. And do you want me to just run the mobile share, Paul? Oh, you're on mute there.
Let me see if I could share my phone.
Okay.
We had to do this yesterday. iPhone via cable.
Yep.
Here. All right. I presume you can see my screen, my phone screen now.
Correct.
So obviously, like one thing we all have these beautiful luxury presence websites. What a lot of people don't know is that you could actually build out custom landing pages for just about everything. Every single one of our events has its own custom landing page. We also made one for the app, really just to also include and not be exclusive to Apple devices, especially if we were at events. And you can actually go here. It's just ringonhomes.com/realist. We had the links to download for iPhone or Android, and then it has other data in there as well, as far as what you can do that we don't share your data and the screenshots that we have within the App Store as well. And then the app itself is right here. It's very straightforward with everything that Robert's been sharing. What I really, really love, and it's already gone through a couple iterations since we first received it. So for example, if I click on a client here, it's really drilling down into the data, showing how many views they've had. This client's already recently under contract, so the usage has slowed down a bit. Gives us the average listing price, what they're looking at. I can go in here and create a saved search for them, seeing what they've favorited, just have even how often they're using this per day or per week. And then I could go in and chat directly with this client if I wanted to right here. Clearly, while we were in the home search, we were using this to communicate on a few different properties. You can also, this initial bot message up at the top, you can also customize that as well, so that when people first log in, you can have that link to a video. We're actually going to add a link giving people tips and tricks on how to use the app, so that they can navigate it without feeling like they're trying to figure it out on their own. And then on that more section down below, this is where we're starting to build out all the resources. So like Robert said, we haven't fully done that yet, but now that we can nest things and have it more organized, instead of having an entire screen full of list items, we'll have all these right here. And what we'll do is push out emails, push out social media posts, talking about these specific categories and getting people to buy into our app. Something as simple as homeowner resources like property appraisers, utilities. We're even going to have frequently asked questions in here as well. Here's the Run Club section. We just added the first one last week. And these go directly to the Instagram for that Run Club specifically. So what it's also doing is allowing us to create connection with the community and connection with our partners. And we're essentially creating partnerships where people can also help alleviate some of the costs for us, because we're putting them front and center in our app as well. And we're going to be doing that with our lenders and title companies, maybe a couple vendors, but we don't want to be too vendor heavy with this. And then we also have our apps here as well, which I always have to remember and put it into my processes to update those. So there are a couple events in there that have already passed. So that's essentially how we've used that. And I know there are a few improvements that are also coming down the pipeline that will make it even more robust and more engaging and more organized for us down the line.
Oh yeah. AI, right? The big buzzword. So lots of AI, which we'll chat about here shortly, but we're trying to do everything we can to have the app, engage and provide simplicity and automation to where you can focus more on talking about it, marketing it, working directly with your clients. So that's all in the works as we speak. Now, again, guys, the secret sauce to all of this, because you could have the best system in the world, but if you're trying to drive someone off of systems like a Zillow, like a Redfin, and you're trying to give them something that's completely foreign to them, a lot of times they're just not going to take the time to do it and take the time to learn. So if I were to pull a Zillow up and I were to put it next to one of our apps, you see how there's a lot of similarities here with like that bottom bar, these pins here, search bar, filter, right? So very, very similar UI UX. We just think active listings should be green. Why are they red, right? Open houses are blue. All of your listings will stand out in their own color as well. And we will feature your listings in different ways. So even though this listing in particular is not Paul's listing, he's the sole point of contact for every listing, no matter what. And then throughout the demo, there's different places where we'll feature his listings, promote them, etc. With the custom links, right? We have agent resources here. So let's say your agent wants to access a buyer contract real quick. These are only accessible to your agents, whereas you have the other resources that you can give to the public, where they can have one-touch access, and everything that's clicked on here, guys, is opening a website inside the app. Now, when it comes to those push notifications, if it's something search-based, they'll start to get those inventory alerts. Hey, there's Elaine Simon. free pre-approval custom push notification right here from Dogwood Realty. Guys, people are just looking at their phone all day. Like I need to turn some of these off because I got like way too many of these, but anything you want people to see, this is one of the best ways of doing that. And if it's something link-based, so let's say it leads to an Instagram post, it's going to open that post inside of the app, driving them, in this case, to your Instagram, which can produce likes, follows, and additional visibility on your other content. Same with those custom links. And if it is something that, just a listing you're trying to promote to your database, it'll open those listings inside of the app and track all of this information for you. So like Paul mentioned, outside of FUBs, because this all does feed into FUB, guys, if you're on the road and you want to see something quick, you can definitely see those data points inside of the app real fast. Like what saved searches did they get? They favorited a few listings. What are these listings? Great. Now I know they want a $1.3 million home in Huntington Beach. I should share listings after this open house that kind of match this to re-engage this client, right? Why is my buyer searching all the way over here? They told me they want to move here. Now I know. And as Paul mentioned, he's right about to get his spreadsheet into this thing of all of his clients. What's going to end up happening, Paul? You're not only going to reconnect with a bunch of people, which will turn into business, you're going to have a number of people on there that are searching for sold listings and things in their own neighborhood, which is going to produce a listing opportunity for you. So all of the data that occurs here, you have visibility on and you get notified on in real time. Anything you want to add to this, Paul, before I kind of wrap things up on the mobile side?
Nothing other than we are going to add a link to our home bot. That way someone can keep an eye on their home's value just as another touch point where they want to engage with us, or we can reach out to them as well. Can you look up closed listings on here? I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, it depends on the market. Like in Texas, you can't, but most markets, these are the available statuses here. So exclusive listings is basically for listing presentations. So like if you want to add their listing into the app before it's live, you can preview it here and then on the listing presentation say, hey, I've already created a comp for you with all the solds in your neighborhood that match your listing. If you log into my app, you're going to get all those comps faster than Zillow. Not only that, I've generated hundreds of buyers on my system. Let me show you how I can get 92% of my buyers to actually see your listing right now. You've uploaded their listing into our app. You send it to their phone as a push notification. They get a hit of dopamine and you've just differentiated from everyone else. So outside of that, auto tagging your listings from MLS. Some MLSs display coming soon. I know yours does, Paul. Some don't. So it just depends on how your MLS works. Active listings, open houses, backup pending, sold, and leases. If there's some of you that do not want leases in your app, no problem. We can turn things like this off. But outside of that, there's a bunch of other filters there. Cool. So to kind of tie this all up in a pretty bow for you guys, the chat feature is what really ties our system together. I mean, we're really harping on like one-stop shop, concierge experience. Like that's a big part of all of this. Like what experience are you giving to the client that is different from the next guy? Things like a chat feature simplify communication and get more app usage in general. So let's say Paul wanted to share these 4 listings with this client because they're going to go see him on Saturday. Hey, take notes on all of these listings. Driving directions are on each of them. Think about some of the email chains that you guys have right now. They get 200, 300 deep. That's very unorganized. It's very archaic. And if I'm trying to find a conversation I had 2 weeks ago, it's nearly impossible. This simplifies things. This creates transcripts for your compliance automatically for you. And if let's say I needed, let's put a lender into the conversation, I can start a group chat right away and add people from the app or even outside of the app. So if you can encourage your clients, hey, use our chat feature and invite your friends and family into this thing so you guys can communicate on listings, that'll now generate leads and you'll have visibility on all of those conversations as well because you're an admin.
We've
So
used it for clients when there is a couple involved as well, and it keeps it from getting buried in their chat because we pretty much communicate through text message or WhatsApp a lot, and this just takes it out of everything else going on in their life and allows it to live in there. Sometimes we have to guide them back in there because then they'll text us or email us or find us on Instagram and like, let's just bring this back into the chat.
Yep. I mean, you guys have the steering wheel, share listings here, chat. They'll get the push notification. Hey, Paul sent you a message, and then they're back in the system. And some big features coming, guys. Even if you do this, it takes 4 to 5 weeks to go live. In the next few weeks, we're adding threads onto these listings, meaning every single conversation you have on a specific home can't get lost. All the price changes, all those things will live on the actual listing. So I'll wrap it up with the whole AI stuff that everybody loves, right? I think Terminator's real, but our AI is the good AI, I guess. So what our AI is currently doing, it's engaging your consumers based on their behavior. So if a consumer continues looking at a listing but not taking action on a listing, it'll do things like, hey, did you want to see this home? Did you want to talk to an agent? When people favorite listings, they're able to add these to lists. So the more data that our app is collecting, the more it learns the behavior and automates things like, hey, did you want to see this home now that you favorited it? Where the AI is going is, let's say a consumer, really loves the backyards or the fire pits or whatever they keep looking at, and they're zooming in and zooming out. We're going to do things to reorganize photos to show these types of things first. We're going to feed them inventory that matches this search without you having to do it. We're going to create automated searches that you can activate. So instead of you always having to create this saved search from scratch, or we have templates, obviously, you can set up that it automates that process for you. So reporting from an analytics standpoint, you're going to be able to like personalize and really drive deeply into the analytics through AI. And that is all here now, and some of it is coming. Perfect. So to wrap this up, for those of you that are big Real Scout lovers, no issue there. Real Scout is a much better web platform. Ours is a much better mobile platform. That's why we're in this solutions group here. So since everything's feeding into FUB, that is the central location for it. You can still create searches for your clients. You can still set them up beforehand, but this actually has a lead gen opportunity because you can get people to download the app from any source, face-to-face interaction, a digital, a print. The goal is get your brand on their phone and get push notifications to create commissions due to top of mind awareness and action. New listing pops up, great. I'm going to click it. I'm going to see it. Your client favorites a listing, great. You're going to see it, take action, and take those next steps. So Alex is going to post, or he just did, a Calendly link to our page. Everyone has different business models. Obviously, I know you guys use FUB, and I know you guys use certain aspects to all this, but I'd like you to please book a time when you're interested in taking a look at all of this so that I can better understand your business model and we can really, guide this to fit your needs. If you decide to move forward, the good news, guys, is this is not like building a website. You can really drill into things within a 3-hour period with us. Just send us your headshots, send us a spreadsheet of your clients. We will do the heavy lifting for you. So it's going to take us about 3 to 5 weeks for all of this to go live. But We'll guide you through that process, and we'll do, as mentioned, the heavy lifting, and then set up the trainings and all that good stuff for you. So before we end this, Paul, was there anything you wanted to end the meeting with today?
Yeah, you're great. Rachel's great. The whole team that if we need a training or a touch up, or we have new agents come in, or if there's a new feature, they're always available, and it's really easy to schedule a training. And that way you, as team leader, don't have to always bear that yourself as well. Put it on them and use them as a resource. So it's been really nice to have them available, even if I'm not always available to them.
For sure. Always working together.